Hi everybody, Kevin here from Sticks and Stones again. I've been in the shop all day doing different things, and I came across this. It's just an old beat up baseball bat. It's full size. And what I figured was, I just got my new Kutzel Extreme burr in. So I figured, well, maybe I'll rough this thing out. It's a little beyond its time, but we might as well make a Santa out of it for Christmas. I like to carve these big bats. Draw a quick little simple Santa on it quick, rough it out with the Kutzel, and we'll paint it up and sand it down, and we'll try to make a Santa bat out of it for Christmas. These are pretty easy projects, and they're fun to do, and they sell. So I'm going to come up from about here. I keep it pretty low towards the bottom, and I'll show you afterwards, but I'll try and keep the drawing in the camera for now, so I got it pretty zoomed in. Yeah, all I'm going to do is come up to about here, and I'm just going to draw me a line straight across like that. It's not straight, it's actually arched a little bit. And that's going to be the fur on his hat. Okay, and we'll do another line above it. Just like that. This is going to be something that everybody can do. Okay, it's a good beginner project. We'll attach these. I'm not going to make them super fancy or anything. Okay, we're just going to try and get a Santa face on them. So we'll come down a little bit, and we'll give him 2 eyes, eyebrows. Okay, like that. Okay, pretty simple. We'll come down and give him a nice, easy nose. Right, and we'll make this guy nice and happy, so we're going to give him a cheek. Come over here to the side, bring it straight up into his hat, just like that, see that? And then this right here, we're going to make a beard. So I'm going to mark that there and do the same thing over here. Come down, keep them pretty even. All right, come up over here. Now he's got 2 cheeks, all right? Now this right here is, like I said, is going to be his hat. So the rest is going to be beard. We're going to come over here, start his mustache, and come down over here. Start sweeping his mustache that way. Here, same thing. Just a couple of simple guidelines here to get a mustache in. Right, and if it's a little wider on this side, I'm kind of at an angle. I put my dust collector right here. That way it'll actually take this. I'm going to make this a little wider. It'll actually get the dust out of my way. It was blowing the other way. I used to have it right in the center of the table coming up from underneath. I had it on the other side. It didn't seem to do it. So I got to go cut another hole in this table and set that up. So this right here is all we're going to do. I'm going to put a line there and a line there. We're going to give him, again, we can come up here and just take a little bit of wood out there for his mouth, and we'll give him a lip. Okay. Simple, easy little Santa. Now what I do over here on the side is I will take my tool to do this, but it's only a relief carving. So all of this down here is going to be beard. All right. And we'll see what we come up with. I'm just doing this for an idea right now about where I'm going to put the beard. All right. It'll actually do something like that. And we'll put Santa in here, and then we'll paint the whole bat red. We'll put a little round off the tip, flatten the bottom so he stands up. And we'll make this whole top of the bat up here. All this will just be his hat, and he'll stand up, and we'll have a Santa. Okay, so let me rough this out. Turn the dust collector on. If that's not in the best shape, let's see if we can salvage it and make something out of it that is something a little more interesting than an old dirty baseball bat. Okay, this right here is a Kutzel Extreme burr. I want to rough this out pretty quick and not really spend too much time on it, because I do make these bats for Christmas, and I try to come up with, at least 10 of them to sell. And I just collect the baseball bats at flea markets when I'm around in the summertime. You can find them anywhere. Most people have at least one old baseball bat laying around. And I've carved wood spirits on them, and I carve Santa Clauses on them. Usually I save them for Christmas and make Santa bats. But I've done plenty of carvings on them. I've carved hummingbirds all around the bat. So this right here is a Kutzel Extreme. I just got a new one in the mail. I was real happy because it's my main go-to for rough outs like this with harder woods and a lot of the softer woods too. But I'm just going around. It's just simple lines that I drew. I keep this real simple, guys. Okay? Very, very simple. And I use it to clean too. And I'm going to paint them, so I'm not going to carve eyes in them. We're just going to paint the eyes. So it's pretty quick. I just carve right through the dirt and the grime and everything. And then I'll sand them down pretty good in the bat and I'll paint the whole bat when I'm done. So you can just watch as I zip through it quick. There's not much to the design. I'm not making them too deep. Like I said, he's more of a decorative thing. But people think it's really cool to have a carved baseball bat. I've had people collect these just because they collect baseball bats. And then I had Santa collectors actually go crazy over these and just got to have one because they just didn't have a carved Santa bat. So, So it's a good little project. I call it a beginner project because really that's all it is. I mean, it's a very simple face. There's not much to making a Santa, especially if you're not too worried about the eyes or anything too fancy, and it's really the way you paint them that makes them, festive and look like Santa. But basically, it's kind of a wood spirit with kind of a fuzzy hat, and that's pretty much it. You give him a little bit more cheeky, look, and blush his cheeks and everything. You can see how this Kutzel bit really just digs right into the bat and just is perfect for doing this type of work. But I could really, make this fancy and do all kinds of other lines and everything with them. But I'm going to use this bit pretty much for most of it. And I'll get another bit or two out and maybe do his mustache with my electric pencil or something. That other little file bit that I got to find the name of that bit for you guys, because I use that a lot too to just put grooves and gullies in and dig if I have to in spots. It's good for cleaning a lot of stuff. And there he is. His beard's all roughed out. I got to do his hat. Or the top of his hat. Now, since the whole top of the bat is going to be his hat, there's not much carving to do here, just these two lines, basically. Clean them down. And what I will do is, even with this Kutzel Extreme bit, since it does come to a point, I can actually do the fur in the hat. And I do that just by poking little holes in it. Sometimes I use a drill bit for this. Sometimes I use a ball, a Kutzel rotary burr. That's a little smaller. It depends, But since I got the bit in my hand, I'm just going around and putting some divots in. And you see how that gives the appearance of fur. And just go around and shape it up and clean it up. And I'll sand him down after I put some hair in his mustache and do his lip hair a little bit. Just digging straight in with the point for the hole in the mouth. And I'm using the Kutzel here for just putting some lines in for that mustache hair. And I'll probably go through it a little bit and hone it a little better with that bit that I call the electric pencil. I'm pretty much done with the Kutzel here. I'm not going to do too much else. Now here we go. There's the electric pencil. It's just a kind of a bullnose shape on the tip of it. And I can kind of clean it up and hone around the nose a little bit more with it. I can even hone the hair that I put in with it. And right here I'm using it just to kind of shape a little bit of an eye mound. Not much. Just something to round off those areas that I'm going to be painting eyes and make sure it's smooth. Excuse me, smooth enough that I can put the eyes in. And when I do put the eyes in, like I said, we're not carving them, we're just painting them. But you do want a clean surface. And this bit's also good for getting up in the nostrils here and going through the mustache and beard hairs if I want.
to get them a little bit more refined. And smooth out the nose and everything with it. There I go through the lines I made with the Kutzel. I'm just kind of making them a little deeper, making them a little more uniform if I don't like them. And the big thing I'm using this for right here is to get those wrinkles under the eyes. It tends to make this guy a little more fancy than the simple version. You don't have to do this, but I like to give him a little extra wrinkles and sticks and stones and bumps. It does tend to dress him up a little bit more, make the face look a little bit, tightens up the face a little bit, makes him look a little bit more carved, gives him a little bit more character. And just refine stuff with that bit. Okay, that's pretty much it for that. Now I'm going to take my rotary ball here from Dremel. It's a steel ball, it's fluted, and I like to go around, especially when I'm doing hardwoods. And I'll give the carving a whole once over and round things off the sharp edges and kind of burnish the carving with it. Now make sure, you know, things smooth down pretty good with this, so there's looks more of a, gives it more of a carved look because it'll blend stuff together. I'm not really pushing real hard with this. I'm just kind of going around everything, making sure there's not any pieces that are sticking up, and kind of blending everything together before painting. I go over the hat and the eyes and pretty much the whole carving with this, but I don't see anything else I want to do with it. That'll be it for this bit. But it is nice to go over what I already did with it and kind of smooth those edges down, especially when I'm doing a paint job. This will make it easier to take paint and it won't look all dug up once it's painted too. Kind of round off the top so it'll be easier to take the paint, that transition from the hat to the bat. The little extra wrinkles there, they make a difference. You'll see in the advanced version, which is this one, it's really not an advanced version because we're not carving eyes, but it is a little more advanced in how simple you can make these things. I'll just take a piece of sandpaper and I'm going to go over this whole thing with it. Face, eyes, everything. I'm just going to sand most of the bat down. For painting though, I'm going to be doing mostly just by hand. I don't really spend a lot of time on it. He's got some pretty bad spots in him, but for the purposes of this video, I'm just going to quick sand it. And then we'll throw some paint on him. I still have to fix the top of this bat because you can see that it's messed up on the one side. It's kind of boogered up. It's an old bat. I mean, he would have just been sitting there and nobody would have thought much of him. Now he'll be immortalized as a Santa when I'm done, and somebody will pick him up for Christmas. Okay, time to get painting. Just got a wide brush here, some gloss red, just basic red paint. I like to do them barn red. That gives them a whole different look. I like to put a lot of shading in these. I'm not going to do it in this video, but I will cover just a little bit of it so you guys get the idea of what I'm doing. And here we go. So I just kind of slathered this stuff on. I'm not really trying to accomplish any kind of super way to do it or anything. I'm just painting the thing red. I paint everything red that's going to be red. Okay, I'll go all the way to the top of the bat. I won't paint the pom-pom. Okay, but I'll paint the bottom and all around the bat with the red. How do you like that paint holder? I know Jordy sells his for a lot of money. That's a sticks and stones one right there. Mine's just a piece of plastic most of the time, or a paper towel. I know his are pretty expensive, so a little paint tray. This right here is an almond color I used to do the face, and I've said that before in the last Santa video. I'll put almond color on because it's a lot easier for me to blend smaller colors into it when I blush the cheeks and the nose and everything, which I'm probably not going to cover in this video. I'll use almond, and it'll make it a lot easier to come up with more of a fleshy color when I do some blending, and it won't be so orange looking or anything. Now usually I'll hit it with a blow dryer, and then I'll give it another coat Right now I'm giving everything just one coat. I think I will give the face 2 coats though. After I blow dry it, I'll put another coat of almond on it. I rub the little bumps down. Usually I take a paper, not a paper towel, but a paper bag, and I'll rub it down after it's dry real good, and that kind of smooths the paint over, and then I'll put a second coat on and then rub it down again. But I don't have a piece of paper bag right now, so I just kind of use my finger. Here's a second coat of almond. And as you can see, he's carved enough that you can still see those wrinkles going down the sides of his face and his eye bags. I'm not too concerned about getting the almond color, you know, below his lip or his cheeks, you know, on the mustache at all, or the beard, because it'll paint right over with the white, and it, like I said, it'll blend right in and you won't even notice it. I'll just wipe my brush off and go to the next color. Ah, there's a paper bag. Okay, so this right here is just regular white. Sometimes I use titanium white. Sometimes I like an eggshell color, though, like an egg white. I don't like it super bright. But I'm just using what's over here on the counter right now, and I'm not trying to make, like I said, any kind of high-end, super fancy Santa right now. I'll just take it down along the outside of the beard to where it is carved, and try not to go too much outside the carved lines on the outside. Just enough to make it uniform if I have to. And I do put a lot of shading in the beard when I'm doing and I'll give it a little twist, maybe a little curl at the bottom or something, just with paint. But you can shade the beards and do all kinds of neat stuff with the paint once you have your carving done, and you could really make these guys look pretty damn cool. All right, but for now, like I said, I wanted to keep this project something that everybody can do. So it's nothing fancy, nothing hard, guys. But I am showing you the painting process, a little bit of it, so you can get the idea if you want to do a little bit of the shading that I use and stuff to get the same kind of effect. But anybody can do this. Real easy. You get yourself a good bit to rough out a bat today. I'll hear about that from Just Carve Rob. He'll ask me if I was drinking or something, which I don't really drink. I'm nutty enough without it. There we go. His eyebrows are there. This right here, paint is, I believe, sky blue, and I'm just going to put 2 quick dots right in his eyes with that after I put a little bit of white. I just put a little bit of white. I don't want to make his eyes too big because then he's going to look goofy. So if you notice, it's very little white. All right, just enough to shape 2 uniform places that I can place some blue inside to, because Santa does have blue eyes. So they say. I never met him in person except at the mall. But I don't think that was the real Santa. Then wiping the brush off again, and after I blow dry those, they're dry, and what I'll do is I'll just put a touch of that blue in there. Just 2 dots for now, and I'll show you how to clean that up and make it look a little bit better also.
And this right here is what we got done so far. We're going to line his eyes a little bit with some black, and we'll go around and do some black here, and I'd like to put white around the bottom. I mean, look at this. It's all beat up. I can sand all that later. This is just for really showing you guys how to do one. But, and then up at the top, what I would do is I would clean this up with my knife or a grinding bit and make it more of a pom-pom, you know, and I would paint that white and fancy it up with some little stars or whatever. I'll paint it up and show you. That's all. We can make them look better. Okay, what I got to do here is finish his eyes up a little bit. What I like to do is I use a toothpick. You see how we have the blue here, and it's just kind of sitting in the middle of the white. So what I like to do is kind of give him like eyeliner with some black paint. And I need something really small. That I don't have any really thin line brushes that'll work good for this. I find a toothpick works the best. So I'm just going to take a little bit of black. and put it on the end of that toothpick. And then I'm going to go across like that. About like that. And I'll outline those eyes just a little bit on the top. And that kind of sets those eyes a little apart from the eyebrows. Okay, just like that. And I'll clean it up a little bit if I got too much, again with the toothpick, and where there's a little too much white. Sometimes you can also put some black right in the middle there. And do his irises. And that's how I finish the eyes real quick. Okay. And we'll hit that with the blow dryer for a minute. And then I'll add some black to the top of the hat and the bottom of the hat. And we'll keep going from there. Okay, next I'll take a pretty stiff flat brush and I'll dip it in some black paint. And I use acrylic paints, and they're most of the time gloss paint. And I try to keep it pretty stiff, and I'll wipe most of the paint off it. Okay, I'm going to flip his hat over, or the bat over. I'm going to come right in here. I'm going to dry brush it over top of that white. Give myself a little bit of shading. And blend some of that white into the red then. Let's try to dirty it up a little bit to give him some shadow and stuff like that. And if I don't have enough, I'll just do it again. But I do try to get most of the paint off, because if I leave a little bit of paint on, it'll be pretty black, which is a whole different look. But either one works. I'll show you an example of another bat I got started, and some of the things I do on it. But these are great little projects. I'm going to put them in the group. I'll post this video up in my carving group, Woodcarving Helpers. If you haven't joined that, go to Facebook. If you have a Facebook account, the link's in the description. You can join us, and I've been posting little Santa tutorials and drawings, and I'll post this video and try it out. You know, we're starting to try some projects for Christmas. It's Christmas, so I'm trying to do Santa projects for now. And we'll get back to some wood spirits too. And anything that I overdo here, I'll just take the red again and blend it down into that black. All right. And I'll show you what I do with that. So you see that shading there? That's all I'm doing there. And where it needs it, you know, I'll put it, like over here, there's a little bit of white yet. I'll probably put a little more black in there. And I'll start adding other colors to make him pop a little. Sometimes I like to do under the hat too, just a little. Like right here. Just so we separate that hat from, you know, his beard. A lot of times I do the fur on the hat a little, just a tad different color than the beard and the eyebrows and mustache and everything. So it kind of separates that hat from everything else. You can even put a little bit of black paint over these and then go back with some white and clean it up in spots. Okay? Yeah, now on the bottom here, I'd put a white band all the way around it. And let me see, do I have white? Show you another trick I do to dress these up. At least so you know how I'm painting them. I'll take a little bit of white, and again, a toothpick. And this is good for when you just don't have those brushes small enough. And I'll dip that toothpick in, I'll put a bead of paint with the toothpick, say right there. And then what I'll do is I'll pull the paint with that point just into little starbursts. Can't really do it in the camera like this, but there we go. And I'll put a couple of those around and dress them up, you know. Not really good at making stars, but you get the idea. Okay, and I'll put a couple of those around. You could do the whole bat. Just put them in different spots and stagger them all over, you know. And the more you do, the neater effect it has. Okay, and another thing I like to do, I usually do this with a paintbrush, but say like in this black here, I might take some paint and just do some dots of different colors. And then again, I'd blend the red down and make sure that there wasn't too much black up in here or whatever. Anything to dress it up and makes it look a lot more decorated for Christmas. See what I'm doing there? And you could decorate them any way you want. I mean, I've done all kinds of different designs. But I do like to use a toothpick to get into those. Just to put a little dab on. Now, you could do these a lot easier with the brush than the stars. The stars, you really need a good brush, and I'm not the best person to reference painting or to teach you guys painting, that's for sure. Just showing you some things I do. They're little tricks that playing with the paint that actually helps dress my projects up a little bit without having to be a master painter, which I am definitely not. Okay, but you see how that dresses it up a little bit? And he's got a couple of stars, and I will do this all over the bat, and I'd put white down here and then shade that with black, and I would come up to here and shape his top. Okay, oops, I just got paint on my coat. And I would paint that white and, you know, dress him up as much as I can. And then I'd blush his cheeks, which I'm going to do with some, probably just a little bit of red and a dry brush. And I'd call it a day, and I'd sell it as a Santa bat. Okay. I wonder if I can get this, I'll zoom it out and show you, you know, a little bit better view of it and the other one that I have. Okay, so there's pretty much a Santa bat. I don't have much room to actually stand him up. If I stood him up off the table, you wouldn't be able to see him. But, like I said, I'll paint the bottom white and put some black around him like we did in the hat there. And his cheeks will be blushed and everything. I'm not going to do the whole paint job since this video is getting pretty long now. But that is a full-size Santa bat. Okay. And I still got painting to do on it. And let me show you the example of the other one that I'm working on. Because I do make these for Christmas. This one right here has been sitting in the shop for a while, but this right here is a couple more things you could do. I just took some paint and I put little dots all up it. Okay, and then the top's painted white. It's not shaded yet, but he's got a little bit of berries here and holly, if that's what holly looks like. And on the bottom, see how I paint the bottom and I do the little dot thing all the way around. Okay, so that's another Santa bat. And instead of having the bottoms rounded, I kind of flatten them out, and then they stand up. And it's a nice little Santa Claus, okay, that you can do. Once I shade his cheeks and put all the shading on him, he'll look a lot fancier, but you get the idea for the project. You guys paint it however you want. And that's going to be our Santa bat project. And that's how you can take a regular baseball bat. Depends on how you want to carve them. This is a simple version. This guy's got a little more wrinkles and stuff. And I'm going to blush their cheeks and fancy them up. But have a ball with it, guys. Try it out. I'd like to see what you come up with. Okay, that's it for this video. I will talk to everybody later and have a Merry Christmas. Bye-bye now.